People are creatures of habit and comfort, and when things we defined ourselves by are no longer relevant, we have to find out who we are again. We must untether ourselves from things that no longer serve us and are no longer nourishing, and sit in our isolation for a while. It can be tough to reflect on what makes us us. What drives us, gives us pleasure, brings us solace, what we have learned and what we will bring forward into tomorrow's version of ourselves. I read a quote recently. What do you do when you've forgotten all that you know? You start again from the beginning. Nature is not an if or a but, it is a certainty, and we are so lucky. So whilst the weather has been the best it's gonna be, it's England, but I mean, we've had some sunny days. I've been trying to get out as much as possible. This time we stayed in Wasdale. It is by Scafell, which is the tallest mountain in England, and it's also by the deepest lake in England. There is definitely something to be said for being in the middle of a vast quantity of water. You just feel so tiny, you feel miles away from any of your problems, and it just gives you that time to centre yourselves and just calm. It's so nice. We did actually feel like we were in an episode of The Twilight Zone though. We pulled up and set off and we paddled pretty much the whole length of the lake, which was fine. It didn't feel like it took that long, but then on the way back the wind was against us and it took us a long time to get back. Kept looking at the side expecting our car to be there, and then it wasn't, and it felt like we went past about 5 different pull-ins where we thought, here we are, but then we weren't. We were starting to worry that it was the never-ending lake. The campsite that we stayed at is National Trust. I tend to look out for them wherever I go. There's a certain standard of facilities and a certain standard of rules. Sounds kind of lame to be like, oh yeah, rules. But I've been to campsites before when there aren't really any rules, and trust me, it sucks. The site is really calm, really quiet, and it's right at the foot of Scafell Pike, so the views are unmatched. For camping meals, we took along our small fold-out barbecue. It doesn't take up very much space and they're not very expensive. We made tacos, 100% recommend, such an easy but delicious camping meal. And then we just did some kebabs on the barbecue, which was also chef's kiss. We went for a little hike on the last day, just up to a local pub. It's pretty much the only pub in the area, so we bumped into a lot of people from the campsite. Fun fact, there was a phrase used by Victorians, I think it was pronounced pterodomania, and it was a phenomenon of everybody becoming obsessed with ferns. There was fern fever. I feel like I've got it bad, man. The walk is beautiful and the trail sets off pretty much from the campsite, so if you are staying there, I would definitely recommend checking it out. If you are planning on doing Scafell, the campsite is also the perfect place to stay because one of the trails for Scafell starts from the campsite. It was like the devil's butthole. It was so hot that day. Promised land.
Fucking mirage, I know.
Thank you for joining the adventure. Catch you next time.